This is Riley Porter with Seattle Sumo. This is the first in a series of commentary tracks for the 1960 Haru Basho. This is March 1960, Showa 35. The video this track is for is found on the Japan Sumo Association's official YouTube channel. So if you go there and go to the archive playlist, you should find this one. The first day's coverage is complimentary, free for everyone, but days 2 through 15, I believe, are restricted to members only. That is, members of the YouTube channel. So you can, I believe, pay something between $7 to $9 a month, and you'll have full access to the sumo archive coverage found here. Personally, I believe it's a good investment, but to each their own. So this video, this commentary track, I'll be playing in a separate tab, and so I'll be giving a countdown so that you can press play on the visual portion at the same time as myself. So I'll count down from 3, 2, 1. As I hit the N in 1, I'm clicking play. You'll do the same, and then we'll be in sync. Without further ado, I'll start the countdown, and I should clarify something. I made this mistake just a moment ago. You should be going to the first day, Shionishiki. The first, I believe they have a omnibus or a compilation for bouts in this tournament. I don't know if that's free or members only, but you'll be going to day 1, not the omnibus. This is coverage for day 1. Without further ado, 3, 2, 1. Kitabayama, Taiho, Chianofuji, Archive. So there's coaches, senior members of the Sumo Association here at the sort of, I suppose you could say, the dohyo christening for this basho. There's one of the gyoji forming the ceremony. And you'll see lined up there the former Maeda-yama, the former Kitabayama, and the former Haguro-yama. So 3 of the lead wrestlers during the 40s in sumo. Of course, since it's March, they are in the Osaka Prefectural Gymnasium and not in the Ryogoku Kokugikan. So if you've noticed a difference in the bleachers here, you can see some gentlemen seated in the back where the audience would be. You could imagine those are perhaps members of the supporters club or other sort of high-ranking non-sumo entities. So here are the gyojis, giving his prayer to the gods for a good basho. You can see the little square hole in front of him where they've deposited some items for luck. All routine parts of the dohyo christening. And here, I think, is the little pouch holding the items. There's a small bottle of sake there, so they'll deposit the items therein. Place some dirt over the top. And then, I think, 3 drops of sake. 1, 2, 3. So as I understand, burying certain items, principal grains, some such as good luck in Japan, part of Shinto ritual. Here, all the coaches, all the senior members of the association being given sake to drink as part of the ritual. Common practice, it's practice for every basho. And here the taiko drums parade through, and then they'll continue this parade outside as a way of announcing the beginning of this basho. See the hanging roof there. Seems to not be as well built with as much supports or as many beams as I'm used to seeing in the Kokugikan's hanging roof. I don't know if that's just a design of the time or a peculiarity of this basho. In any event, a big crowd outside the gymnasium. The rest of their banners here for the Sekitori. And now the Dijicho, or director of the Sumo Association, is going to make the opening remarks for the basho, flanked by the most senior wrestlers. I don't believe that these are... there's no junior Sanyaku included in this lineup, you'll notice. It's only the Ozeki and the Yokozuna. The Dijicho, of course, in the front here is the former Kitabayama, now Tokitsukaze Oyakata. He's got a few men of his own. A few of his students are in this top division. You can really see the difference in stature here between some of the wrestlers. And of course, Asashio is towering over everybody else on the dohyo. Here comes Tochinishiki, the defending champion. He won the last basho with a 14-1 record, so in top shape. He's been either runner-up or outright champion in, I think, the last 6 contests. So certainly the favorite to win this basho. I believe that he's getting on in years, but certainly is at the height of his power, and so can be expected to be the front runner. Returning the flag to the former Naruyama there. Now Tatsunami Oyakata. He's got a few high-profile students of his own here in the top division. And now here comes Wakanohana for his dohyo iri. The dew sweeper there, the Tsuhyuharai, on the right. There's Wakanokuni, his junior stablemate. And there's either... I'm not sure who the sword bearer is, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably Wakanoumi, the next most senior wrestler at Hanakago, Wakanohana stable. Very sharp dohyo iri. He's got a couple years experience doing it at this point, and he performs in the Unryu style. Right hand extended and left hand guarding. Wakanohana, one of the lightest Yokozuna, and the strongest competitor to senior Yokozuna, Tochinishiki. He did have to pull out of the last basho with an injury, not being able to pick up really any wins, so his prognosis for this basho is uncertain. He's, outside of the hiccup last time out, been a very strong Yokozuna since his promotion, hasn't gone below 11 wins yet. So, well, aside from last basho, I suppose. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of shape he's in. Speaking of struggles and Yokozuna, here's Asashio. As you can see, his sword bearer there is Fujinishiki, the next most senior wrestler at Asashio's Takasago stable. Takasago, the most physically gifted Rikishi in the top division, I would say, and certainly a strong wrestler. At his strongest here in Osaka, why they call him Osaka Taro, but as a Yokozuna has struggled with injury and not quite been able to put together the big results that one might hope for a man at his rank. Like Wakanohana, he performs his Dohyo Iri in the Unryu style. So we'll see what sort of shape he's in. This is his best time of year. So if there were ever a time for Asashio to challenge for the Yusho, this would be it. And so I think it would be fair to be optimistic for his performance at this point. Takasago is also one of the larger stables in the top division. Actually, Hanakago and Takasago, Wakanohana, and Asashio, both stables have 5 Dikishi in the top division. Second only in share to Deiwa Umi, which has 6 wrestlers. Pretty sizable still, even past its heyday. And here is Tochinishiki, defending champion, as it were. And the sword bearer is blocking the face of the dew sweeper here. You see the tassels hanging off of the hilt of the tachi, the sword. Tochinishiki, of course, is the most senior Yokozuna in this competition. Asashio and Wakanohana were promoted in, both of them in 1958, I believe. And Tochinishiki, I believe, has been at the Yokozuna rank since at least 1955, so he's had a lot of experience. He's already won 10 Yusho, so he can count himself really amongst the best. And a very powerful set of Shiko stomps in his Dohyo Iri. Clearly experienced at performing it. And you can see to the right of the dew sweeper there, another Oyakata, there's the former Shionishiki, an Ozeki at Deiwa Umi once upon a time. Our first match is Tokitsukaze veteran Wakabayama, Juryo 1, against Atagoyama, the struggling Takasago man. He's not nearly as much experience in the top division as Wakabayama, but Wakabayama's on the slide. He jumps to the side, jumps out to the right, and then hooks his hand underneath Atagoyama's armpit and swings him down Kotenage. So very fleet-footed, Wakabayama. And Atagoyama didn't really have much of a chance to respond there. Now, Miyagino's Uragawa is up against Hanada. Hanada from Kasugano Stable is brand new to the top division. He dives into Uragawa. Uragawa's dug inside there. He's got a deep inside right. Now he's got a Motozashi. Now he's got a double inside, but Hanada hooks his left leg inside and trips down Uragawa with a Uchigake. Inside leg trip. Very nifty. Kiyonomori against Tsunenishiki. Kiyonomori, very light. He's yet to establish himself in the top division. Not made a winning record here yet. He's been re-promoted from Juryo. He dives in. Tsunenishiki's on the inside, picks up and wheels around Kiyonomori, but Kiyonomori spreads his feet out, plants himself, and crushes down Tsunenishiki. Looks like a Yori Taoshi, and Kiyonomori gets off to a good start. Narutoumi, Kasugano veteran, the lightest man in this top division, against Yoshinomine from the Takashima stable. So Yoshinomine gets the chest. Narutoumi's on the back foot here, but he's not allowing himself to be pushed out and gets to slapping on the back of Yoshinomine's back and neck and sends him down to the clay. So that's a day 1 win for Narutoumi. Hanenishiki, Yoshinomine's stablemate, senior man at Takashima, against Kanenohana from Deiwa Umi stable. Hanenishiki, the bigger of the two. Kanenohana gets to thrusting at the chest and settles on an outside left, but Hanenishiki bears down on him, drops his hips and drives in, sending Kanenohana into the ringside seats. So Hanenishiki picks up a win on the first day, gives Takashima stable once home to Yoshibayama, something to go home with. Tokitsuyama, Tatsunami veteran, longtime strongman against Shinobuyama, also a longtime sumo fighter. These two have had many matchups, and they've only very slightly favored Tokitsuyama. Shinobuyama dives in, Tokitsuyama sort of does a little hop out of the way. Now Shinobuyama's really driving from underneath, double inside, and finishes Tokitsuyama. So does a nice job of using a change in level, dropping down and pushing from underneath, not getting too fixated on the belt, sticking his arms out and finishing Tokitsuyama. So I believe their in-ring head-to-head was evened up with that at something like 15-15. So, longtime rivals, these two Dikishi. Wakano Kuni, the most junior Hanakago wrestler in this top division, against Oikawa from Takasago Stable. Not quite in sync there. They'll try again. You'll notice in these Showa-era basho, the tachiai is not centered on touching both fists down, strictly speaking, but more so synchronizing the sort of squatted charge. The half standing, half all the way down. Oikawa bounces off Wakano Kuni, who holds firm in the center and gets to thrusting. Now Oikawa drives in, drops his head, and pushes. He's got an outside grip, but Wakano Kuni circles back, gets his back to the middle of the ring. Oikawa's assault has ended. He's tired a bit now, but it looks like he's gearing up for another go. Wakano Kuni pops in, gets to driving, but Oikawa twists, puts Wakano Kuni's back to the edge, and Wakano Kuni twists right back and crushes out Oikawa. So, Oikawa, just shy of his best rank. He's took a minor demotion after the last basho. Took a loss here to Wakano Kuni, who's also working to establish himself here in the top division, sort of a lower Maegashira, but that was a spirited bout. Very good sense of where he was in the ring, Wakano Kuni. Didn't allow himself to be put in an awkward position. Very patient and turned the tables on Oikawa there, so good match. Fukudayama from Deiwanomumi Stable against Wakamisugi. So he gets right in there to get his inside right, and then starts pushing up on the armpits of Wakamisugi. Wakamisugi's in an awkward stance, but holds his own, grabs on the outside of Fukudayama's belt, and twists him over, Uwate Nage. I believe it was an outside left. So Wakamisugi reverses things on the edge and picks up an opening day win. Another victory for Hanakago Stable. Things are going well for them this basho. You'll notice all the Hanakago Dikishi have waka at the beginning of their shikona. Easy way to tell them apart, or from everyone else. Speaking of, Waka Chichibu, also from Hanakago Stable. Pretty imposing Dikishi, a young man too. I believe he's only 20. Here at the opening of the basho against a veteran Matsunobori, a former Ozeki, now on the slide, down to Maegashira 8, but also the heaviest Dikishi in this division. Wakachichibu dives in low, Wakamisugi, or Matsunobori rather, pivots around, kind of keeping Wakachichibu from establishing himself too much on the inside, but Wakachichibu is tenacious. He's got a shallow grip with the belt, and he wrenches it up into Matsunobori's chest. Matsunobori's belt's pretty loose on the outside. Wakachichibu's got his head dug into the chest and a deep inside left now. He looks like he's ready to finish him off, and does just that, depositing Matsunobori outside the ring. So Wakachichibu picks up an opening day win. Hanakago Stable's winning ways continue. Matsunobori, of course, the sole representative for Oyama Stable. Not every stable is going to have nearly half a dozen Dikishi in it. Some must stand alone. Now, Tama Hibiki, lightweight from Nishonoseki against Aono Sato, relative newcomer from the Tokitsukaze Stable, from Aomori, and recruited by Kagami Sato, hence the Aono Sato. So he dives in. He's got an inside right that he's using to keep himself posted to Tama Hibiki, but Tama Hibiki doesn't give up, doesn't get flustered, and keeps pedaling to his left, and eventually, at the ring's edge, pivots for something of an Uchari move and sends Aono Sato to the dirt. So Tama Hibiki holds his own, picks up an opening day win. The Tama, of course, in Tama Hibiki is a reference to Tama Nishiki, great Yokozuna from Nishonoseki stable, their last great Yokozuna. Their best wrestler, really. Waka Maeda from Takasago against Oginohana. Oginohana gets that Maimitsu. It's that shallow left on the inside of the very front of Waka Maeda's belt. Waka Maeda jockeying for position here, trying not to get flustered, but Oginohana sticks to him, keeps at a nice low angle, and finishes off Waka Maeda with Yorikiri. Oginohana, of course, from the Ogi Islands, I believe, and, of course, being from Dewano Umi, the Hana in his name is a natural reference to Tsuneno Hana, the former Yokozuna and current head coach of Dewano Umi. Here we go. The Shimpan, or ringside judges, are shuffling out. They're changing shifts, as it were. Filing past the crowd here. You can see a lot of variety in the audience at this basho, the young and the old. Kaizan, also from Nishonoseki, I believe, against Iwakaze from Wakamatsu stable. So Iwakaze drops his head and catches Kaizan and jumps at him. Now he's sort of keeping himself stuck to Kaizan by hooking his left behind Kaizan's shoulder and digging his head in. Kaizan's the lighter of the two, not quite as strong as Iwakaze, I think, but maybe in a potentially better position. He's a little high, but he's got the outside of the belt now. Iwakaze, though, wastes no time, grabs the inside left. So with his head buried into Kaizan's chest and an inside left, I think he's in a strong position here. If he can just get that right hand of his into a more favorable position, Kaizan's sort of got him locked up high. So neither of them are really in a great spot for a drive out, but Kaizan's going to go for it. And Iwakaze pivots, uses that high right as scoop throw, Sukuinage, and drops Kaizan to the dirt. So that's Iwakaze's first win. A strong wrestler on his way up. A lot of potential. A little Kenshoken there, looks like. Tsurugamine from the Izutsu stable takes on Dewanishiki, the most senior of Dewano Umi's 6 top division Rikishi. Tsurugamine jumps in, Dewanishiki catches the arm, and wrenches him out. So I suppose that would be something of a kimedashi, I suppose. Dewanishiki hooked Tsurugamine's left arm with his right and sort of forced the pressure on his on the elbow there and walked him out. So Dewanishiki, putting his power to use and his technical experience. He's been in this top division for a long time. Wakanoumi against Kitano Nada. Kitano Nada, a Tatsunami veteran, is one of the oldest in this top division. And he's got a very sharp tachi-ai. So Wakanoumi comes in low, bounces off the flurrying arms of Kitano Nada, who's now trying to make something work with an arm grip, but then shifts his position to get an inside left. So now it's Hidari Yotsu for both of them, inside left, outside right. Wakanoumi is in a slightly more favorable position. Kitano Nada's got his back to the edge. Room to work. Well, they're catching their breath here, looking for their moment to move in. Kitano Nada is certainly the much more experienced of the two. Wakanoumi, I think, is maybe got more stamina, maybe a little fresher with age, but, you know, experience counts for more than youth in sumo. So Kita no Nara works his way deeper into Wakanoumi's belt there. Outside layer is very loose, and then drives in, wrenching him up with that outside right, and very speedily done, I should say, too. Kita no Nara with his trademark quickness. That's why they call him Shiroi Inazuma. Shiroi Inazuma meaning white lightning. So, day 1 win for the Tatsunami veteran. One of the 4 heavenly kings, which is to say currently the only 4 Tatsunami Dikashi in the top division, and they're all pretty standout, strong Dikashi. Very popular. O Hikari, another Day 1 Umi veteran, against Kashiwado, an up-and-coming Sekiwake, very strong young wrestler. So Kashiwado's got a strong charge. Ohikari sort of shifts to the side immediately. And he's working on an inside right deep. But Kashiwado wrenches his arm. And he's jockeying for position now. He's got both hands on the arm, ditches that. Ohikari's doing his best to keep Kashiwado off his belt, using his head and his angle to keep a distance between them. But Kashiwado keeps the pressure on Ohikari's right arm, and with a Kote Nage maneuver, wrenches him down to the dirt, picking up an opening day win. So Issei no Umi's top man, Kashiwado, picks up an opening day win. Very promising young wrestler, and certainly a Yusho hopeful. He's put up pretty good results in the past, so we'll see what this Basho holds for him. Certainly one to watch out for. Big guy too, one of the taller ones. I think he's only really behind Narutomi and Asashio in that regard. Taiho, coming off a runner-up performance on his debut Basho in this last Hatsu Basho against Tatsunami veteran Annenjama, who's got a Yusho under his belt, so he's technically done a little better than Taiho. Though Taiho's this is only his second Basho out, so at this high rank, I think he'll probably be running into some trouble. The opponents he'll be up against this time out will be of a different caliber than the ones he fought in the lower Maegashira. So we'll see how he does. Dives in low on Anyama. Cuts his left inside. Taiho's got an inside left of his own already. Swings on Anyama around to the edge and finishes him off with the Yorikiri. So Taiho holds his own. Doesn't get flustered. Fighting in the Joi on his second Makunochi outing. So he looks ready to extend his winning ways. The youngest Dikashi in this top division, by the way, he's only 19. So he's got a lot of growing to do yet, and it really should be exciting for some time to come. Kitabayama against Husanishiki. Husanishiki, like Iwakaze, fights out of Wakamatsu stable. Kitabayama is Futabayama's top student. Be part of the reason, of course, why his name is so close to Futabayama is just trade out the Futa for a Kita. Kitabayama's, as you can see on the shorter side, a stout wrestler, but he's pretty technically adept, pretty speedy. He dives in, Husanishiki gets to thrusting. That's his style of sumo, but Kitabayama catches him, which is his style of sumo. He's a little better on the belt here than Husanishiki and shows it. Just jumps into him. Of course, Husanishiki's on the back foot and tries to tilt up to get Kitabayama off his feet and dull his momentum, but Kitabayama just keeps the attack going, jumps forward, and finishes Husanishiki off. So both Sekiwake get an opening day win for this Haru Basho. They look in shape to fight for the Yusho. Tama no Umi, the oldest man in this division, 37, against Wakahaguro, the enigmatic Ozeki. Bit of a soft tachiai there. Wakahaguro sort of did a half hop forward. Caught Tamanoumi a little off guard, perhaps. I think Tamanoumi meant to anticipated there would be a harder charge. Wakahaguro, that's more his style, to hit low and push out. But he wins either way. An opening day win for our first Ozeki here. Sanyaku are looking to be in pretty good shape on the whole. You might not know it looking at him, but he has won a technique prize in the past. He's a fairly well-rounded wrestler on the whole, but as his weight has gone up, I think he's become more prone to a reliable, consistent Oshi style of sumo. So Kotogahama from Sarugatake against Shionishiki. Shionishiki from the Tokitsukaze stable. A late bloomer. Despite being in his mid-30s now, he's at the peak of his power. And so we'll be looking to show what he's made of here at what's a pretty high rank for him, Maegashira 3. He took a record 18 years to hit Komusubi, so he's a patient and steadfast wrestler. He gets a deep inside left here on Kotogahama, who puts himself at an angle to try and keep Shionishiki's outside right from setting in, but it has. He's on the outside of Kotogahama's belt here. He pushes in, but he's a little high up. Kotogahama puts an outside leg trip on, and then arches his back, lifts Shionishiki, and twists him towards the outside of the dohyo, picking up his day one win. So both Ozeki, there's his Sagari, the tassels on the belt. He got tossed back to him from someone ringside. So Kotogahama, the sole representative from the Sarugatake stable, only recently established, I believe in 1950, 52, 55, by Kotonishiki. So hence the Koto in Kotogahama's name, though he was a part of Nishonoseki before moving with the branch out. Yokozuna Wakanohana against Naruyama. He jumps to the side, completely sending Naruyama catches none of him, but he's very quick to grab the outside of Naruyama and push him out. Bit of an okuridashi. So Wakanohana, a light wrestler, uses his speed to his advantage here and picks up an opening day win. So he's already doing better than his last outing when he only got 3 losses, or I suppose when on the day you pull out, it counts against you as a fusen. But yeah, no wins last Basho, so already doing better. Tochi Hikari, rising star from Kasugano against Asashio. So now we'll see what shape Asashio's in. He's got a very good head-to-head against Tochi Hikari. Tochi Hikari's only beaten him once in their 13 matchups to date. So he's got inside of Asashio there. It looks like he's already got an inside right, inside left, Morozashi. Asashio's posting up with an outside right grip, but not a very strong position. Tochi Hikari is steadily moving him closer and closer to the edge. Asashio braces, and he twists. I don't know if that's really going to count in his favor. And it looks like the call went to Tochi Hikari. Seems appropriate to me. No Mono-e. And that's an opening day loss for Asashio. So we'll see. Yokozuna have bounced back from day one losses before. But Asashio didn't really look like he was a big participant in that match, so to speak. Somewhat hapless against Tochi Hikari. They're an opponent he's usually got no major issue with. Now, Tochinishiki has Fujinishiki, who's also from Takasago, like Asashio. Fujinishiki dives in. Tochinishiki, rather, moves to the right, slaps down, and sends Fujinishiki sprawling out. So Tochinishiki picks up an opening day win. 2 of our 3 Yokozuna. So they are... our Sanyaku is in pretty strong shape on the whole. Minus Asashio's sort of embarrassing opener there, but we'll see what the remaining day's action has in store for us. Thank you for joining me.